Very good morning, dear children. So, yesterday we started the reading of the chapter, the third level by Jack Finney in standard 12th. Now, what we have read, just have a discussion about that. Charlie, being an escapist and fed up of the modern world because of insecurity, war, fear, worry, problem, tension, he wanted a place where he could enjoy the peace, comfortableness like this. So one day he was coming from office to home and he got late, so he took subway from Grand Central Station. And on that particular day, he was able to find third level. So how does he define third level? Third level is a medium to escape from the harsh reality of the world, like war, especially fear, worry. Okay, so yesterday we stopped at this point where he was able to find third level and he was telling each and everything to the reader and especially to his friend Sam, psychiatrist. Okay, so we continue with this one where he has described each and everything of the third level. Now, he had been through a tunnel, long tunnel, and that leads to the third level. Okay, fine. Now, the corridor I was in began angling left and slanting downwards. The corridor, now after crossing the tunnel, he was at a place that was corridor, and he was like taking left turn and sloping downwards, and I thought that was wrong. He thought it was wrong, but I kept on walking. He thought whatever he is doing, it is wrong, but he did not stop himself. All I could hear was the empty sound of my footstep. Now he was going through the tunnel, so what he heard? He heard the echo of his own feet, of his steps, you can say, and didn't pass a soul, and he did not see even a single person. Soul means a person. Then I heard that sort of hollow roar ahead. Then he heard that some kind of sound was coming from the front side, means the last point of the tunnel. That means it means open space and people talking. Then there might be an open space and people will be there. The tunnel turned sharp left. Then the tunnel took a sharp left side. I went down a short flight of stairs. Then he took stairs and came out on the third level at Grand Central Station. So, my dear children, and I just repeat, at Grand Central Station, as he reached, first he took level first, then gradually to second level, then after a tunnel he followed, and that tunnel led to the third level. Even though right now we read that in the tunnel he could not see any person and he could hear his own footsteps, an echo, you can say, an echo of his own footsteps. Now he reached at the third level. Now, dear children, today we will discuss what does he see at the third level. First, for just a moment I thought I was back on the second level. For a minute or for some second, for a moment, he thought that he is again on the second level, but I saw the room was smaller. Then he observed the size of the room, it was smaller. There were fewer ticket windows, and there were ticket windows and train gates, and the information booth in the center was wood and old looking. Then he observed ticket window, and thereafter his attention went to the booth. Okay, and it was old fashioned and was made of wood. and the man in the booth wore a green eyeshade and long black sleeves protector. And the person who was sitting in the ticket window was wearing green eyeshade and long black sleeve protectors. The light were dim. The light was dim there and sort of flickering. Flickering is coming and going. The shining. Then I saw. Then he observed why they were open flame gas lights. That then he thought that why they at this time that open flame gas lights are there. He observed. So actually, my dear children, he just comparing the present thing in this chapter. These are with the world that he lived in. Okay, so here we got to see that at third level he found first thing a small room, second thing ticket window, third thing train gates, next one train gates and the ticket counter. Okay, people were wearing green eyeshade, the person who was sitting in the ticket window, and of course he saw open flame gas lights also there in this particular third level. After this, there were brass spittoons. Spittoons means, nowadays we do not use these things. Spittoon means a pot where people used to spit, like whosoever enjoy pan masala, they used to spit. So in old time, people used to have spittoons, especially in the public places. So he observed their brass metal spittoon on the floor, and across the station a glint of light caught my eyes. Then his eyes were attracted by the glint of light. Okay, a man was pulling a gold watch from his vest pocket. He observed that a person was taking a gold watch from his vest pocket. He snapped open the cover, glanced at his watch and frowned. Means the person first put his hand in the vest pocket, took out the watch, observed the time and frowned. Frown means shows some kind of anger or surprise. He wore a derby cover, glanced at his watch, hat, a black 4-button suit with tiny lapels, and he had a big black hand labor mustache. Okay, so that time Charlie observed the person fully, like his dress, black 4-button suit, okay, tiny lapels, and he had a big black mustache. Then I looked around and saw that everyone in the station was dressed like 1890 something. 1890 means 1890. Okay, so then Charlie observed that all the people on this third level, they were wearing the dress like 1890. So obviously he's in the past time. Now he was getting discovered that the people those who were there, they were having different kind of dress code, something like room size, lightning. Okay, so these were different things. Thereafter, then I looked around and saw that everyone in the station was dressing like 1819 something. I never saw many beards. Means he did not observe the people having beards. Now all the people, they were having beard people, you can say, sideburns and fancy mustache in my life. Because in modern world, people do not have mustache and the beard. Okay, but now he can observe the people those who are having sideburns, the cut on the beard man and mustache. A woman, now next observation is a woman walked in through the train gate. A woman came out from the train gate. She wore a dress with a leg of mutton sleeves. Now dressing sense of girl or female, mutton sleeves and skirt to the top of her high button shoe. High button shoe means long shoe, knee shoes, you can say simply. Back of her, beside her, Out on the tracks, I caught a glimpse of a locomotive, means locomotive vehicle. Okay, a very small courier and Ives locomotive with a funnel shaped stack and I knew. Means just after that locomotive means the bogie of the train he observed, and it was very small like Courier and Eves, company name Courier and Eves. He observed that he knew very well. Means this is the name of that particular Korean company of the bogie or the locomotive that he knew very well. So they in this paragraph we came to know that Charlie observed the people from their dressing sense, from their outer appearance, especially like mustache, beard, and all. Then he observed a woman, and thereafter he observed a locomotive also. Okay, so to make sure, I walked over to a newsboy to confirm. Charlie went to a newsboy, means newspaper boy, and glanced at the stack of paper. Then he observed the stack, means piles of papers at his feet, and it was the world. The newspaper name was the world, and the world has not been published for years. Means this one is the old newspaper that was already stopped to print. Okay, that was no more in existence. So this newspaper was already stopped and nobody could see. So it was the paper of 18th century. Then he also found this one strange because now right now my dear children he is on third level, and on third level his observation we are reading. The lead story said something about President Cleveland. This story, the world, Korean news, mustache people, beard man. Okay, all these shows the era of President Cleveland. I have found that front page since in the public library files. So one day he observed this front page of this newspaper in the public library, like a museum, and you can say, and it was printed in June 11, 1894. It was published on June 11, 1894 in 18th century. Got it? I turned towards the ticket window, knowing that here on the third level at Grand Central I could buy tickets that would take Louisa and me anywhere in the United States we wanted to go. So, dear children, now he goes to ticket window and he wanted to purchase ticket window from third level at Grand Central Station. Two tickets, one for him and one for his wife, so that they can go anywhere in the United States wherever they wanted to go. It means they want to take any a long drive or want to visit some place, so that's why he wanted two tickets in the year 1894, and I wanted two tickets to Galesburg, Illinois. This is the location Galesburg, Illinois, where Charlie and his wife wanted to go. That's why Charlie required two tickets to purchase from the third level at Grand Central Station. Have you ever been there? It is a wonderful town still. Which one is wonderful town? Galesburg, Illinois. Okay, with big old frame houses, huge lawns, and tremendous trees whose branches meet overhead and roof of the trees like these. Okay, this was the world newspaper. This is the scene of the Galesburg, where this beauty like huge lawns, big frame houses. Okay, tremendous trees, and in 1984 summer evenings were twice as long, and especially in this year the summer of the evening or evening of the summer they were long as twice as long in general, and people set out on their lawns. People they sit on their lawns, and the men smoking cigar and talking quietly. Now Charlie is talking about Galesburg. What happens at Galesburg? Okay, people they sit in the lawns and they do smoking and they talk very silently, very quietly. The women waving palm leaf fans. At Galesburg, women waving palm leaf fans mean natural thing. From the leaf of palm, they make fans with the fireflies all around, and during that time, some fireflies they also flies around them. In a peaceful world, to be back there with the First World War still 20 years off. See, 20 years off means 1914. First World War took place in 1940. Now 20 years ago, and before this 20 years, what will be 1894? Okay, so it was right. Got it? So Charlie went back in 1894, even before 20 years before of the First World War. And World War II over 40 years, obviously it was in 40 years, 1935, 1935 to 39. Okay, fine. I wanted 2 tickets for that, and now Charlie wanted 2 tickets for his wife and himself so that he could go to Galesburg. The clerk figured the fare. The clerk counted the amount. He glanced at my fancy hat band. Hat means the cap. But he figured the fare again. He counted the fare, and I had enough for 2 coach tickets. 2 coach means 2 train tickets. Right now, Charlie has sufficient amount for his 2 tickets, one way, only for single way. But when I counted out the money and looked up, when he took the money from his pocket and counted, and then he observed, looked up, the clerk was staring at me. The clerk means the ticket counter person was surprisingly observed him, or continuously staring at him. He nodded at the bills. He says, "No, that isn't money, mister." He said, "No, mister, it is not money." He said, "And if you are trying to skin me, if you are trying to cheat me, you won't get very far. You cannot go very far." It means the money Charlie right now is having is not matching with the world of third level. In third level, that was different currency, and in present era that was having by Charlie was different currency. That's why the ticket counter person said, "If you are trying to skin me, if you are trying to cheat me, you could not get so far from me." And he glanced at the cash drawer beside him, and then he observed the cash drawer in which the money was totally different. Of course, the money was old style bills. Old style means the currency that the counter has was old style, and the that Charlie has was the modern currency. Half again as big as the money we use nowadays. Half again. Bill half again as big means the size of the notes was bigger than the present one, and different looking. Different look, obviously there was difference between currency. I turned away and got out fast. Means Charlie left the ticket counter and came out very fast, so that, or before that, he means the ticket counter person would complain him to the security or the police station. So before that, he turned back and he left the ticket counter. There were nothing nice about jail, even in 1894. Means still he can say that there was nothing very good about jail, even in 18th century, even in 1894. Okay, so dear children, today we stop here. We will continue our reading and the understanding of the chapter in next video. Till then, do its reading and try to understand what Charlie has experienced in or on third level at Grand Central Station. Thank you. Have a good day.